Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Tuesday, April 25th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. The annual Nova Scotia Nurses Union Convention took place today. Premier Tim Houston and Health Minister Michelle Thompson spoke to about 220 union representatives at the Glengarry Hotel in Truro. The big issues on the minds of the union representatives and their president, Janet Hazelton, were the shortage of nurses in the province and the security of the 7,900 registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and nurse practitioners working in acute, long-term, and community care settings in the province.
It's been very difficult for a number of folks, and that's why we've set up, really a task team that is able to work through some of the issues with the nurses that you're talking about. We want to make sure that folks are thanked for the work that they've provided, and so what we've asked is that those nurses reach out. The cases are very individual in terms of the reasons that people are off, so it's best if they work directly with the employer to work through their cases and understand what they qualify for.
At the gathering, it was discussed that there are 1,115 nursing vacancies in Nova Scotia, meaning about 14% of the nursing positions are unfilled. The union president said that shortage plays out in nurses working too much, including overtime, a situation that undermines an acceptable work-life balance that nurses and other Nova Scotians demand. The nurses and politicians were told recruiting and retention are key. They also heard the security at facilities that nurses work in must be upgraded because nurses are getting slapped, punched, and kicked by the patients that they're trying to serve. Also in Truro today, the Public Service Alliance of Canada strike that continues across the country. About 50 striking Public Service of Alliance Canada workers walked the picket lines this morning outside the Public Service Centre on Willow Street in Truro.
Main points are to get a fair wage as well as to get telework language into the contract.
The union is pushing back against the employer's demand that workers must physically show up at the workplace several days each week instead of working from home. Some of the striking workers in Truro today said they were receiving lots of support from people they encountered on the sidewalk while picketing. While the minimum wage in Nova Scotia recently increased to $14.50 an hour and is set to increase again to $15 an hour by October 1st, for many throughout the province, it's not enough. An employee representative on the Minimum Wage Review Committee member says Nova Scotians have been asking for years to be at this rate, and now it is no longer a livable wage as we see inflation rise, our current housing market crisis, and our healthcare crisis. But the province can't simply raise minimum wage rates to meet the living wage rate. The Atlantic Vice President of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business said many businesses within the nonprofit organization have still not recovered from COVID. And despite Nova Scotia having a historic low in unemployment rates, 5.7% in February 2023, there are still many businesses struggling to hire and fill job gaps. The committee put forward suggestions such as subsidy for businesses who are struggling financially if minimum wage is increased drastically or revisiting taxation rates. Shannon McLeod will have more on this coming up on Thinking Out Loud. A new program at Hope Blooms looks to teach kids about sustainable and renewable energy. Hope Blooms is a nonprofit organization, youth-run community social enterprise in the north end of Halifax, growing healthy food. Their new program is called Green Labs and was introduced in March. The kids are split into groups of 15 to 20 and they do activities in the Hope Blooms' greenhouse. Each activity is related to sustainability. From handmade terrariums to painted dehydrators, the kids are learning about environmentally friendly habits in a fun, engaging way.
The fact that they are learning about all these things right now and it's just innovative and it's relevant. I think that's the main thing, that we want to keep ourselves being relevant.
The students are aged 9 to 12 and their teachers are teens 15 to 18 that have received a certificate from Gaia College in British Columbia.
This program really shows and teaches kids about the importance of renewable energy and sustainability in our daily life and in the world to help better it and improve it for the future. And in the end, they're the ones who are going to be leading the future. So we need that. So it's great to teach them from a young age. So when they grow up, they already have the tools they need to succeed.
Amira donated $100,000 over 2 years to Green Labs. With this, 100 kids will be able to enjoy the program each year. Green Labs is only available to kids in Uniacke Square, so all feel comfortable learning with each other. The program will end in late October and start up again next year in March. It's time now for a glimpse of today's Thinking Out Loud with Sheldon McLeod. Today, Sheldon is speaking with a member of the Nova Scotia Minimum Wage Committee.
What was your message to the standing committee, and do you feel you delivered it? Did they hear you?
I would say that the committee was very receptive. The main points I basically said were that the minimum wage is not a livable wage, and that we could look at solutions such as the government offering a wage subsidy for those businesses that couldn't afford the minimum wage increase. So if the businesses demonstrated some kind of hardship, if we were to increase the minimum wage, that the government would step in and help them out and help with the wage costs. I'd say that would be the main take home, and also to look closer at Nova Scotians' take home pay and how much they're being taxed. And now I know we tax in other ways like goods and services, but the actual take-home pay that Nova Scotians have, especially if they're only making minimum wage, isn't that much. And so how can we look at putting more money into the pockets of Nova Scotians at the end of the day?
And for Sheldon's full conversation, head to the opinion section of SaltWire.com. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by Scott Squires.
Tim Kendrick has been a key person behind the brand new Eastern Canadian Basketball League, and he recently got to attend the home opener for the Valley Vipers, and it was clear that Tim was pretty excited.
Oh, it's just amazing. Because for me, it's been I've thought about it for years and years and what would happen and what it would look like, and then to see it actually happen today, it's a thrill. And I think, for me, it's every year it's going to get better and better, and that's what we really see. We're going to be trying to be parts of the community and things like that. I think the Valley's such a great place to live and everything. I think people are going to really get behind the Vipers, so I'm excited for what's to come. Every game, there's been real elements of great basketball play, and intensity's been good. I really love our players are playing hard for every team. It's just been a really good basketball show since we started.
For my full chat with Tim, you can click on the video tab at saltwire.com or visit the SaltWire YouTube channel. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Thanks, Kate. Well, the cloud cover was a bit stubborn to clear here today in Halifax, but we did have some sun in the mix this afternoon, and really still looking at an incredible stretch of weather as we head towards the end of the month. This evening we'll have partly cloudy skies, the temperature near 4 degrees, and another chilly start heading out the door tomorrow morning, starting near 0 with a mix of sun and cloud. Now, a mix of sun and cloud forecast throughout the day on our Wednesday. The high will be 15 degrees, but along parts of the coast closer to 7 degrees. We still have fair weather on the way for our Thursday, but there will be a chance of showers. I do think these will be isolated, not a washout by any means if we get any showers. Likely not to bring any significant rainfall accumulation, and really that's the only rain I'm seeing for the rest of the month. I'm watching a system to welcome May, possibly later Monday, Tuesday to bring some rain, but overall, sunshine sticking with us in the forecast right through to Sunday, the end of April. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to saltwire.com, and you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.